twice a week after school. And Fairmount Temple is eventually where I became a bar mitzvah. I was a camper at Camp Wise for 5 or 6 years. Camp Wise, for those of you that don't know, is a Jewish sleepover camp affiliated with the JCC. So as you can see, I've had a lot of exposure to Jewish culture and Jewish holidays and Jewish traditions, but not a lot of experience with traditional Jewish learning or Torah study, which I didn't realize until recently was actually a void in my life. A little over 4 years ago, I was blessed to have the opportunity to travel to Israel on Birthright. The trip was organized through the Cleveland Jewish Federation and was absolutely amazing. The trip got me thinking, if something like Birthright could exist because of organizations like the Federation, what other opportunities could exist that I just don't know about? I came back from Israel inspired and motivated to get more involved with the Jewish community. I started by attending social and philanthropic events through the Federation and other groups like J. Clee. I was asked to chair some of those events and eventually asked to sit on the Federation Young Leadership Board, which I've now been on for 3 years. So I'm involved with the Jewish community, but like I said earlier, something was missing. I remember having a conversation with my girlfriend, now fiance, Lauren, who many of you know and is here tonight. So if she could say hi, I don't know where she is. There she is, back up there. I remember having a conversation with her a week or two before I learned about Partners in Torah and about how I wanted to learn more about Judaism, but I just wasn't sure how to start. Should I contact my rabbi at my synagogue? Should I take a class through the JCC? I didn't know. I just knew I wanted to learn more. Then coincidentally, or could call it a guiding hand, just a week or two later, I learned about Partners in Torah. I was super excited, but I'll be honest, I was a little bit intimidated. Since I grew up in a Reform home and had limited knowledge about traditional Torah study, I wasn't sure how the group would welcome me. But the opportunity was too great to pass up, so I went, and I can't even begin to tell you how welcoming the group has been. No one judges me for knowing less. No one judges me for being less observant. If you take a look at the Partners in Torah website, it says, the goal is quite simple, to bring together Jews from all backgrounds through the study of Torah. This is absolutely true, and there is no better example of this than me. Beyond that, studying Torah has really deepened my connection with Judaism. And with the deeper connection has come a deeper sense of responsibility. A responsibility to not only study, which is a mitzvah in itself, but a responsibility to do. To not just read the text, but to be the text. To truly live it. I've spent a lot of time studying Pirkei Avot, Ethics of Our Fathers, and what amazes me is how much of the teaching is still relevant in today's world. For example, showing kindness and respect for others, being humble, not being judgmental. But the main thing, like I said a little bit earlier, is to not just study, but do. Because if not now, when? Not only has Partners in Torah got me started on my journey of learning Torah, but I've also met some fantastic people and made some great friends. Moshe, my Havrusa, for over a year now, has become an incredible friend. Unfortunately, Moshe was not able to attend tonight. He's an oncology fellow at the Cleveland Clinic and had to work, so we'll cut him a break. So I want to thank you all for your time and thank you all for being so welcoming. So now I'd like to introduce Rabbi Landis, another great friend that I've made through Partners in Torah. Rabbi Landis is the education director for Partners in Torah and was extremely instrumental in bringing the program to Cleveland. Rabbi Landis was born and raised in Atlanta, and yes, he's a Hawks fan. He was president of BBYO after graduating high school, which is where he became more interested and aware of traditional Judaism. Rabbi Landis spent a total of 9 years at Yeshiva University and Ner Israel Rabbinical College. He has also done postgraduate work towards a master's at Johns Hopkins University. Before coming to Cleveland, he was a rabbi at a congregation in Cincinnati. He lives in University Heights with his wife Nomi and his 5 beautiful children. So please join me in welcoming Rabbi Pinchas Landis.
First off, thank you so much, David Roth, for being an absolutely wonderful MC here tonight and really starting us off with I know and I hope will be a wonderful, inspirational evening. I'd like to start off with a number of thank yous. As David mentioned, I had a little to do with Partners in Torah coming to Cleveland, but in truth, it had a lot more to do with our founding board, who is Rabbi Klein, David Heller, and Dr. Louis Maltzmacher. 2 out of 3 of which are here tonight, and we have Mendy's son Nati here representing the Klein family and the Klein family charities. But it was really their vision on a trip to Detroit to see our sister organization in Detroit, to see how it functioned, and to say this is something that Cleveland needs. This is something that we need to make happen. And somehow they found me, and decided I was the guy. So that's how it all got started, and we want to thank our founding board members and their continual support for the organization, and really they're the ones who get the tremendous Yasher Koach for making it happen. So thank you very much to all of you. Beyond them, we've had, in addition to our board, our rabbinic advisor, Harav Natali Bernstein, who's here tonight, who has been helpful beyond belief to the organization and to everything we do, taking calls all hours of the day to help us through situations both difficult and easy. So we really want to thank Rabbi Bernstein for all the help that he gives to our organization. And of course, the Jewish Educational Center of Cleveland, the JECC, Suri Goldman and David Heller are both here representing the board today. It's a grant from the JECC in our first year, before we even got started, that helped us to get off the ground, and the continual support they gave us here in year 2. And hopefully our partnership with the JECC will continue on for many, many years to come. There's many people who really helped make the event happen tonight that I want to thank. I want to thank Tom Budis of the Cleveland Indians catering staff, who he and his team helped put this together. And of course, Chef Dave Frank, who's here somewhere, whose wonderful kosher additions made it all happen. And we had some last minute glitches because as you all know, opening day is in about 3 weeks, which means the whole stadium is really under construction and there's a lot of things going on. So we got here tonight, myself and Tom, the director of catering, to find out that there was no sound system in this room. So I very quickly called my good friend, Aryeh Friedner, and said, Aryeh, you know how to figure things out, what do I do? And he said, you gotta call Yosef Aryeh Greenberger, who if I had more yeshivas at Das, if I was able to think things through at the moment, I would have probably realized. But I said, okay, I'll do it. We called him, and Rabbi Greenberger is here with his whole sound system so that even you up in the back row can hear, really coming down last minute to make it happen. Thank you so much, Yosef Aryeh, for literally saving the day. And last but certainly not least, I would just like to thank my wonderful family, my wife Naomi, my 5 beautiful children that David mentioned before, who have to deal with me on a regular basis, and therefore really bear the burden of Partners in Torah in a way that no one else does. And we also want to thank our honorary aunt from Cincinnati, Julie Kaufman, who came up for the event. As many of you know, my grandmother is very sick right now, so many of our relatives from Atlanta who are planning to come up were not able to make it. So Julie is our lone family representative who made the trip from Cincinnati to be here with us tonight. I'd like to share with you a story that I heard recently at a rabbinical conference that I was at in Baltimore. The story is about a man named Rabbi Israel Goldfein. Now, you may or may not know who Rabbi Goldfein was. He had a yeshiva in a little place called Johannesburg, South Africa. I know we have the Straczynskis here who probably are well familiar with Rabbi Goldfein, but those of you who are not from South Africa may or may not have ever heard of this individual. He was a student here in the Telz Yeshiva in Cleveland, and in 1972 he moved to Johannesburg with the goal of building a real Lithuanian-style yeshiva in South Africa. And he was successful. In 1973 he opens the yeshiva, and in the more than 40 years he ran the yeshiva, he had a profound effect on the Johannesburg community. Many of the rabbis who are now leading the Johannesburg community were trained in his school. And he had a wonderful effect on that community of roughly 70,000 Jews today. And because of that, we can remember him as a good rabbinical figure, did a lot of good things for the Jewish people, and it's because of him that a wonderful Jewish community got the leadership that they needed. But really what he did was far beyond that. And the true fruits of his labor that have affected the whole Jewish people were not even seen in his lifetime. Because he had one student. He had one student who came to the yeshiva, who was not from a religious background, who was what we call a Baal Tshuva, and came to learn in the yeshiva. And that student became very, very close to Rabbi Goldfein. He learned with him, he became close with him, he became like part of his family, and in many ways he was like a son to the rabbi. And that rabbi went on to get rabbinic ordination, to become the rabbi of the congregation, and to eventually be hired or voted in as the youngest chief rabbi that South Africa ever saw at the age of 32. I'm referring to Rabbi Dr. Warren Goldstein, whose name may or may not ring a bell to you, but he's the one who came up with the idea of the Shabbos Project that many of us celebrated this past fall. We'll celebrate the third one this coming fall. The Shabbos Project has literally affected all the Jewish people across the world. The Shabbos Project can be found in 65 communities. Over 54,000 communal meals are shared as part of the Shabbos Project. Millions of Jews experienced that Shabbos because of the efforts of Rabbi Dr. Warren Goldstein. But really, it was the efforts of Rabbi Goldfein, who had this one student who he learned Torah with. And that, my friends, is the power of one. And that is the power of partners in Torah. Because what we do, as David referred to, is quite simple. We bring the Jewish community together through the study of Torah. That's what we do. But when people come together to learn Torah, you never know what's going to happen from there. You never know the results that it can have on the mentee, on the student. Those students could end up to do wonderful things like Rabbi Goldstein. Because he had Rabbi Goldfein, he became who he became, and because of him, we have the Shabbos Project. You never know the effect that the mentors have on their mentees. And as the Gemara says in Masechet Taanis, we've learned a lot from our rabbis, we've learned more from our friends, and even more for our students. So the mentors learn so much from their mentees, coming out on a weekly basis, from their regular jobs, be it doctors, lawyers, accountants, Indian chiefs, whatever it is. They come out and they give over to individuals. They put themselves in this teaching role. And through that, they learn even more than the students learn themselves. That's the power of one. And that's the power of Partners in Torah. And all of you came out tonight to show your support for our organization. All of you came out tonight, wrote a check or swiped a credit card or whatever it was. And that's also the power of one, making an effect on something amazing that's going on here in Cleveland. But I want to give you all a challenge here tonight. We have roughly 100 plus people here tonight who are being exposed to the wonderful work of Partners in Torah. And I want to challenge you. If you already participate in Partners in Torah, I want you to go out and find a friend and bring them to Partners in Torah. And if you don't already participate in Partners in Torah, I want you to come on a Tuesday night and check it out. And if Tuesday night doesn't work for you, don't worry, because we've expanded the program beyond Tuesday night. We have CLE courses now for lawyers, which we officially started this past week, with 50 lawyers coming to a continuing legal education course. We have a young professionals program reaching out to 40 young professionals at this time and growing to get them involved in Torah study. We're doing more and more because we have a goal of reaching the 80,000 Jews of Cleveland. When 80,000 Jews in Cleveland are learning Torah on a regular basis, then I can go to sleep at night. But until that point, I have to keep working. So I'm asking you to think about this message of the power of one, and think about how you, by participating in Partners in Torah, or by getting someone else to participate in Partners in Torah, you could have that effect of Rabbi Goldfein on somebody else. You could bring that power of one to another person. So with this in mind, I want you to go home tonight, and I want you to think about how can I use the power of one and spread a little bit of myself onto somebody else. And then I want you to actually do it. From the bottom of my heart, I want to thank all of you for coming tonight, and I hope you look forward to what I know will continue to be an inspiring evening. Thank you very much.